Alright, this week is the 6x6. Now, like the 4x4, you might have some extra steps because it doesn't have set centers. But it's really no harder than the 4x4. It just takes a little bit more time. So as you get bigger, it's really not harder, it just takes a little more patience. So if you can solve the 4x4 and the 5x5, you could solve all the way up to a 15x15. So this will be a little bit quicker of a demo. I might speed up some of the steps a little bit, but we'll go through it nonetheless. So we'll start with white. So just like the other ones, you're going to start by making a bar. So I'm just gonna... Also, the more layers you add, the easier it is for your cube to try and fall apart. It probably won't, but there's always a possibility. I've had a couple pieces pop out of a few of them. None out of this cube, but I've had pieces pop out of my 8x8 before. It happens, but just put it back in and keep going. So I'm really excited to get to the shape mods. I've got quite a few of those, and those tutorials will be a lot of fun. This is really more of a walkthrough, I guess. I'll still put the algorithms down at the bottom when we get to the algorithms, but really, if you've been following along at this point, you should really not be having any problems with this. So we're starting, we're just making our white center. So just building the bars and putting the white centers in place, and we'll do the same with the yellow. So now you got to remember when you're doing this that you can't forget that you're messing up your white. So you always got to put that back after the white layer. So you can do the white layer and the green layer without worrying about it. But the rest of them, you have to kind of watch what you're doing a little bit. So just remember that and you'll be fine. So this one doesn't take too much counting. Once you get up to like the 7x7, the 8x8, you gotta count a little more because you got a lot of layers. This one here is it's doing a 4x4 in the middle, and then you do the outside. So it's not super bad. But there are some that are pretty difficult. And it's not that it's difficult to do, it's just difficult to count. And remember, when you're bringing up these layers, you want to bring it up on the same line that one's in, so that when you flip it around to the other side, it comes back down into place. So don't forget to do that. So we'll just keep building lines, we'll just keep chatting, I guess. Yeah, so definitely if there's cubes that you want to learn how to do, comment them down below and we'll see if we can't get them. Because I'm always in the market for new cubes. I get new cubes quite often. It's something I enjoy doing. So I've got a new one I'm learning. I'm learning a 4x4 axis cube. I actually just built it because the first time I tried to do it, it fell apart. So rebuilt that one. I'll be learning that one. I'm sure we'll do a tutorial on that at some point. So yeah, you're just gonna keep going. You're just gonna keep making your bars, lining them up. Make sure you don't lose all of your other progress. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time. It takes just a little bit of time. So there's a little, once we get past the green and the orange layer, I'll show you there's a little extra thing that you're gonna have to learn once you start doing bigger cubes. Like we did it on the 5x5, but you have to do it a few more times on these bigger cubes. So that's one of the algorithms that we do on the 5x5. Alright, so remember, if it doesn't have set centers, we're gonna have to figure out where those centers go before we put them there, because we don't want to put them in the wrong spot. So we got white on top, yellow on the bottom, green faces. So red will be here, blue will be here, and orange is going to be right here. We already have an orange one nearly done, so let's just complete that orange piece. And let's put this other one that's almost done as well. Yeah, remember to fix your pieces. And actually, we gotta put our moved orange pieces, so we gotta get them up over here. So yeah, even though you figure it out, make sure you don't mess it up at any point, because it's possible to do that. And we'll just keep going. We'll just keep chipping away at it. It'll all come together. Just takes time, really. This piece right here, so I'm gonna put it up there. Okay. So yeah, like I said, you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to make some different moves just to make it work. We don't have any down there, which is good. So what I'm going to do, that down. So we've got that center done as well. So we've got our white, green, yellow, orange. We just got these last two centers, and most of them are most of the way there. So what we're going to do is we're going to build them as much as we can before we start doing those algorithms. I always like to do blue first, which this will be blue, because you want, remember, red touches green, and blue is always on the back. And we got one blue line here already. We got a few red lines too. So it up in there. Partial one down here. See how that one's almost complete, so we're just gonna push it up there. Just like so. Now we'll try and build out this one as much as we can, and then we'll just fill in the gaps. So this one's, so we already got 3 there, which is perfect. Alright, so now we're going to do that reduction stuff that we were doing on the 5x5 to get those last pieces in. So we can do it on here now. So, over here. So, put it where it should go. We're going to bring it down. It's going to fall into place. Over. Set it down. Back over. Up. Back over. Up. Now we've got one left to do. So I'm going to put that over there. There. So, right down. See how it makes that line? Line down. Back over. Fix this line. Over. And then fix this line. So, now we've got all the centers done, which is arguably the hardest part. And we'll just start putting in all these edges, and then we can solve it just like the 3x3. So you just find ones that are already pretty close. So we got 2 of these here, and we've actually got 2 of these here. So I'm going to do all those at the same time. So once you start getting a little bit better, you can start doing more layers at the same time. You just have to make sure that you fix it when you're done. So say we've made that whole layer, so we'll just kick that up to the top. Kick it over, down, and we gotta fix both of those layers since we kicked over 2 pieces at the same time. Let's find another one. So we got one here, we got 2 of these over here. Kick it over. Top. Kick it over. Alright, so let's find the last yellow and red. Right there. So that needs to be on the other side. So let's kick it over. Get the one piece over there, line it up, and fix our center. And then let's do this one. We got 2 in this one, so we need 2 yellow and greens. We got one right there. Fix it. We got another one right here. It's already lined up. Kick it over. Up. Fix your center. Easy peasy. We got 2 orange and blues here, so let's do that one. One right there. Get over. Fix your center. So, we need one more orange and blue. There. Just lined up where it should go. So we've got 2 up here that we can replace with. Make sure you're not replacing with ones you've already fixed, or you're just getting rid of work you've already done. Okay. Got white and red. Another one right there. Okay. Now we got one right here. side. No sense in doing any more work on this than we have to, right? So try and reduce as much as you can correctly, so you don't have to fix it later. We got two here, so let's just do this one while we're here. Let's pop that up. Replace it with. And then we'll get the last red and white one in place right there. We don't want to replace it with this one because we only got one left to do on that one. Let's worry about that one up there. Yeah, don't make more work for yourself. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get this video out on Thursday. I usually shoot for Thursday, but it was a crazy busy week this week. I did not get a lot of time to make cube videos. But we'll either get it out on Thursdays or Fridays every week. We'll get it out as consistently as possible. Just keep chipping away at it, keep reducing it. This one's almost done. Let's do the orange and white. There's the last one right there. Always fix your center or you're starting over. Orange and green. And you can solve these sides in any order you want. I kind of do that different every time. I really enjoy solving the sides. It's one of my favorite parts of the cube. Because it gets to be relaxing, because you don't have to think too much about it. It's just kind of reducing the puzzle down to where it's a 3x3 and where you can solve it really easily. So that's really all it is. Like, you look at these big puzzles and they're kind of intimidating because they're oh, that's a lot of pieces, but if you reduce it down to the pieces you already know, then it's no different than solving a 3x3. It's just a couple extra steps, which I enjoy that myself. So there we go. So we're coming down to the end of these edges, so you gotta make sure you're not messing up the ones you've already done. But I mean, you're bound to mess up a couple things that are, you know, like you might have a couple pairs you might just have to suck it up and mess them up. Like, we're probably gonna have to, yeah, we're gonna have to separate those. Which is just, it's just how it is. It'll all work out at the end. Pop that up. So now we're down to just these two sides, and you can see they've landed in. Oh, we have one more side. There it is, right there. Let's do that first. So. We're close. You do that all the time. You get down to there's 3 sides left. You think you got 2, and no, not quite done yet. That's alright. Might end up easier. Alright, so there we go. Yeah. Now we just got these 2 sides left. So we need to get this piece over here, or actually you need this piece over here because these are all done. These are all done. We can just flip those pieces. So I like going left to right, so I always swap it. It's just easier for me. And you can do that if you want. It's just me moving it around. until it goes the way you want it to go, which is how I like it. I like to go left or right, so I always just switch it around. So you want it lined up with this piece so that it ends up here. Doesn't make sense, but that's how it works. So you're gonna kick just that layer over. I mean, you could do the whole top layer; it don't really matter. But if you're working inside here, because you can do the same thing with any of these layers. Like we could do it with the green one, but just do it. It's just easier. So I always try to move just the layer if I can, unless I'm doing the 5x5, because the 5x5 is always going to be the same. It's the same algorithm we've already done with the 5x5. So, and I'll put that down at the bottom of the screen. And fix your center. So now you've got all your sides done. You have to fix that, but that's not a big deal. That's just another same algorithm that we've done before. Just gotta do it again. So that'll be down 1, 1, 2, down 1, 1, 2, up 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And now all your sides are completed, sides and centers. So now it looks way more solvable, right? So, just make our daisy. And you'll get to the point where you don't have to do the daisy. Like, I don't have to do it. It was kind of how I learned doing the cubes, and it's kind of, I guess, just more nostalgic for me. It's relaxing. It's just how I do it. It's just my step by step. But do it any way you want. Because yeah, from this point, it'll solve it exactly like a 3x3. You could get that other algorithm at the end, like the 4x4, where you have 2 corners that you gotta swap, but that's the only surprise you can come up with on this one. It'd be the same as the 4x4. So any even number cube, 2x2, well, I guess not 2x2, but like 4x4, 6x6, 8x8, 10x10, they'll all have the same possibilities because they don't have set centers. Any odd number cube won't have those same problems because they do have set centers. So 3x3, 5x5, 7x7, 9x9, those are all easier cubes in my opinion because there's less things that can go wrong. But it's one algorithm actually that you have to learn. It's not a hard one. It's one of the easiest algorithms. So. And like I've spent a lot of time learning how to do this. It comes really hard at first, but I didn't start getting into these bigger cubes until about a year ago. So if you take the time, it really can come. You know, if you can do the 3x3, I've been doing 3x3s since college, so. I think I started doing my senior year, so 2016. I started learning how to do the 3x3, and I didn't start doing anything else until 2019. So it'll come. And now I'll put all the algorithms for the 3x3 down at the bottom too. So we've got a couple more of these big cubes. We've got the 7x7 and the 8x8 that we'll do. So next week we'll do 7x7, we'll do 8x8, and then we'll do some scoops just to take a break from the same algorithms. So we'll do some scoops, and then from there we will do some shape mods probably. The shape mods are a lot of fun, but they're going to be these same algorithms that we're doing here. It's just you're holding like a jumbled mess of pieces. it makes it a challenge. It makes it a real challenge, but I have a couple of them that took me weeks to solve because I was so angry at them. But once it clicked, then it was a lot easier. So none of these are in the right spot. So we'll just do our algorithm wherever we want. Okay. Right spot, wrong spot, wrong spot. So we've got that same problem that I was saying before. So here's what we do. We do that same algorithm that we do in the 4x4. We just gotta push 2 rows down. So down, 1, 2. Oh, we gotta do it twice, my bad. Down twice. 1, 2. Down twice. 2. Half the cube. 1, 2. Down twice. And 1, 2. And then it puts us back to this again, so we just gotta do that step again. Which I'm sure there's a way to do it without sending you back a couple steps, but I don't really mind. I get set in my ways, and it's just how I do them. But the thing is, you can take pieces from my video, you can take pieces from other people's videos, and just learn how to do it your way, whatever makes the most sense for you. Oh, just those 2 left. We'll do our final algorithm. Don't forget to finish this one, and don't turn your key. And that is gratifying. There is your 6x6. So stay tuned next week. We'll do 7x7, we'll do the 8x8, and then we'll do some scubes. Scubes are a lot of fun. So we'll probably start with the Dino scube. We'll do the normal scube. I'm really excited to do the multi-scube cube. And I think that's about it for the scubes that I have currently. But if you have some different scubes that you would like to see done, like this video, put it in the comments, and we'll see about buying it and doing some other scubes. But right now I just have the Dino, the standard scube, and the multi-scube. Yeah, so go ahead and hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and we will see you next week.